Yeah, okay, Vijay. So let's open the integration chapter, integrals.
Yes, sir.
Correct? Fine.
Yeah.
Now let's go with the integral calculus. What is this integration, and we'll try to understand this part of. So a couple of important things we'll understand. So differential calculus is centered on the concept of derivative. The original motivation of the derivative was a problem of defining the tangent lines to the graphs of function and calculating the slope of such lines. So integral calculus is motivated by the problem of defining and calculating the area of region bounded by the graph of the functions. So this is quite important. Okay, this is what is application of the integrations we are talking in the front only. So differential calculus means when we do the dy by dx, what exactly we get? We get actually the slope of the line, right? Dy by dx, we get a slope of line at a certain point, isn't it? Right? And then we get a certain point, and then finally when you do the integration, so integration is based on the concentrating the area where we defined that the certain part of the region bounded by the graph, and we need to find the area of that region. And what will be that region? Basically the region will be it's not like a normal region, it's not like a rectangle, it's not like a square, it's not like a parallelogram where you have a fixed formula and do that. So it gives her it can be a parabolic graph, it can be a cubical graph, it can be any graph, it can be linear equations graph, right? So it can be any graph. So basically this is centered towards finding the area of the region. Clear? So that's what the integration means. Okay, so we call it opposite. Okay, what is called indefinite integral and what is called the definite integral, we'll try to understand. Further, the formula that gives integration also called the antiderivatives. Okay, by the way, if the function is differentiable by interval, and we define the derivative f dash x exists or the each point 1, then the natural question rises of the f dash at each point L, then we can determine the function. The function that could be possibly be given by the function as derivative are called the antiderivatives of the function. So we define the antiderivatives. Okay, so antiderivative of the functions. So antiderivative is also called the indefinite integral. So here till here it's just remember that another name for the integration is the antiderivative, because this is the opposite of the derivative, so that's why it's called the antiderivative. Correct? Next, so we have in integral calculation, we have the two things now. Generally we'll have the indefinite integral and we have the definite integral. So we'll try to understand what is called the indefinite, what is called the definite one. Fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now let's go to the couple of simple examples. See, we saw one of the applications. Basically, let's go to the couple of applications of the integrations before going to the in detail of the how to do the integrations. So practically we use as a tool for the science and engineering. Where exactly we use the definite integral is also used to solve many interesting problems for various disciplines like the economics, finance, and the probability. So how does it? See, whenever they do the projections, right, they use the integration method. Whenever they do the projections of the graphs, right, so seeing the previous pattern of the graph, you can actually find out what will be the curve, what will be the graph looks like, and then you can integrate to find the certain area, right? So that can be done in the economics, that will be done in finance also, and you can do something in the probability also, right? Good.
Yeah.
Now let's go to the integration of the inverse process of differentiations. Now write down the differentiation of sin x. Vijay. Let's write down the differentiation of sin x now.
Sorry, sir?
Let's write down the differentiation of sin x. D by dx of sin x is what? Cos x.
Okay.
Correct? D by dx of sin x is nothing but the cos x, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
D by dx of sin x is cos x. Okay, so yeah. Now, and couple of things. And what is the d by dx of e power x? E power x only.
E power x.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we can also say is that integration. That means if you want to find the derivative of sin x is equal to sin cos x. Now, what will be antiderivative of cos x? Sin x. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Antiderivative of cos x will be taken as sin x, right? No. And antiderivative of e power x will be taken as e power x. Clear, right? This part, understood this part?
Yes, understood.
Excellent. Now, we need to understand one more thing in this part. Okay? You might have seen that we say that sin x is antiderivative of the cos x. Similarly, in 2 and 3, we can say that x cube by 3 and the e power x are the antiderivatives of the x square and e power x. Now, we somehow write that sin x plus c is equal to cos x, and d by dx of x cube plus c is equal to x square. Okay. Now, write on this part, Vijay. D by dx of sin x plus c is equal to cos x. Then I'll explain to you what is this constant c here. Okay. Write down.
Can you repeat that?
Just write down d by dx of sin x plus c. Okay.
Okay.
D by dx of sin x plus c is equal to cos x, isn't it?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now, what is this constant c? We need to understand what is this constant. So, in the integration, we always put the constant c. Right? Now, we need to understand why this constant c is getting added to it, isn't it? Now, so antiderivative is fine. So, when you do the integration of d by dx of sin x plus c is equal to cos x, and when you do the antiderivative of this, you should get the same answer back. Correct? So, but problem is that antiderivative of the integrals of the f-sided function are not unique. So, and there exists the infinite many antiderivatives of each of the functions which can be obtained by choosing the c arbitrarily from the set of the real numbers. The problem is that any function, if it is sin x plus c, antiderivative when you do that, it will be cos x only. When you do the sin x plus 2, sin x plus 3, sin x plus 100, you will get the same answer as cos x, isn't it? Because derivative of any constant number is 0 only. So, how will you identify the unique function now? In order to identify the unique function, we identify using the arbitrary constant. Correct? So, we attach the c value. We keep the c value so that the function becomes a unique. Got it? Because when you change the value of c, you will get the different antiderivatives altogether. How it happens, we'll see in this part now. Don't worry about it. Okay, so right now just understand that c is called the constant of integration. Okay, c is called the constant of integrations. Okay, so write down this part, d by dx. I'll tell you what needs to be written. Write down d by dx of f of x plus c is equal to f of x belongs to I, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what we say here is c and where f and c belongs to real number denotes the family of antiderivatives of f. So what exactly means the antiderivative? We'll try to understand this part now. Okay. So before that, before this, the c part you will understand using the graph. When we do the graph part, you will understand what is the meaning of how the c value changes the graph. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do you do the integration? Same way, how do you do the integration and the differentiation? So here, suppose the function is, if the function is this part, f is equal to g minus h, then f of x is equal to g of x minus h of x, if and only if x belongs to integer, right? Interval, sorry, some interval. Okay. Now, let's try to understand the thing part. Right now, we have to give the integration. So, integration symbol is what? You know the integration symbol. So
Yes.
let's try to understand this part now. Now integration of f of x is given as capital F of x plus c. Fine.
Yeah.
Got it. Integration of this one will be given as f of x plus c. Okay. Now c is a constant of integration. So what is basically meaning here? The symbol is called the integral symbol. The
Okay.
s symbol, which is the longer form, is called the integral f with respect to x, and f of x in the dx basically is the integrand. So integrand is the f of x, dx is called the integrand. And go to table 7.9, Vijay. I'm discussing about table 7.9. Okay.
Okay.
So
7.9.
7.1, table 7.1.
Okay.
Let's
Oh.
understand the table 7.1 clearly so that the meaning has to be very clear. So what is called integrand, what is called the integral, and what is called the variable integration. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Clear this part?
It's clear, sir.
Okay. The process of finding the integral, okay, the constant of integrations, any real number c considered the constant function, that's fine. Okay, this is okay. F dash of x is equal to f of x, that is fine. Integrate, that's fine. Integral is integrate, any integral symbols, phrase, and so on. Fine, this is okay. Any questions, any doubts till now? Because in this part it's pretty much straightforward.
No, sir. Clear.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's go to the next part. Integrals using directly we are finding the opposite of the differentiation now. Okay. Now let's understand the first part. Just understand the first part. The simple formula for the differentiation of x power n, when you do that, becomes the x power n plus differentiation of the x power n plus 1 by n into n plus 1. Let's understand first this part. Okay. If we try to differentiate the term x power n plus 1 by n plus 1, so it will become x power n only, correct? No, because n into x power n minus 1, correct?
Yeah.
Now what happens? How do you understand the differences? So basically you see, left hand side is the differentiation of the term, right hand side is the output of the term differentiation. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So meaning is, when you do ante, that means when you try to integrate the x power n, you should get the x power n plus 1 by n plus 1, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right? So meaning is that if I
Yeah.
try to integrate the x power n, I should be getting the value of what you had differentiated, right? So the output of differentiation is x power n. So when you try to do antiderivative of x power n, I should get the x power n plus 1 by n plus 1, correct?
Yes.
Right? No? Clear? Because derivative of certain things, you got x power n is output. So this output is a reverse wave. If I want to go, that should give me x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So reverse process is the integration process now. Clear? So reverse process,
Yeah.
how do you do the reverse process? By putting a symbol of integral, correct? So that's why you see the s symbol came here, x power n gives a dx. So it becomes an integrand, and then the answer will be x plus n plus 1 by x power n plus 1 by n plus 1, isn't it?
Yeah.
Clear? Any questions, any doubts in this part? Plus c, we add the constant proportionality because we'll understand the reason, because why just to make the specific function x power n plus 1 by n plus 1, we add the c here. How the c will make the difference, we'll understand in the subsequent pages. This part is clear to you or not? Anything which is not clear in this part, you can ask me.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Right? Good. Similarly, what is the differentiation of x d by dx of x power 1. So basically it will become, use the formula n into x power n minus 1. So 1 into x power 1 minus 1, 0. X power 0 is nothing but 1. So 1 into 1 is 1. So that's why 1. Correct?
Yeah.
Understood this part? Clear? Now,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
now similarly, if I want, 1 is the output of differentiation of x. So 1 should be, when we do the integral of 1, I should get back the x. Correct? So integration of 1 dx should give me the x. Correct? Opposite. Integration of 1 should give me the x plus c. Isn't it clear, this part? Understood? Any questions, any doubt, Vijay?
No, sir. It's clear.
Differentiation of sin x is cos x. So when I do integration of cos x, I should get the sin x value. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Understood this part?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Good. So what will be the differentiation of minus cos x? Cos x differentiation is minus sin x. So minus into minus plus sin x.
Okay.
So integration of sin x should give me the minus cos x now. Correct? See, what we are learning is the formula we are learning right now. This opposite formula you are learning, because you know the differentiation of the terms. Because you are done using the first principle. Right? So what is the differentiation of tan x now? It's secant square x. Similarly, if I do the integration of secant square x, I should get the tan x then. Right?
Yes, sir.
Clear, Vijay? Any questions, any
Yes, sir.
doubts?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Keep
sir.
writing it down, okay? So keep writing it down. What is the differentiation of minus cot x now? Minus cot x. So cot x differentiation is minus cosec square x. So minus into minus, positive. So differentiation of minus cot x is cosec square x. So when I do integration of cosec square x, I should get the minus cot x then. Minus cot x plus c. Correct?
Yeah.
So when I do the integration of cosec square x, you should get the answer as minus cot x plus c. Clear, Vijay?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. See, we are learning the one by one the formula part, and I'm stressing on the formula part because this will get repeated to you, and we have to remember this part, because
Okay.
you don't need the proof for it, because you have to prove it using the first principle method. Got it? Now let's go to this part. What is the integration
Yes,
of
sir.
cosec x? Cosec x integration is minus cosec x cot x. So if we do minus cosec x, then it will become the cosec x cot x.
Okay.
Correct? So integration of, whenever the
Yeah.
integration of these two terms together comes, cosec x cot x, we can directly put as a minus cosec x is the answer. Understood?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Similarly,
it's a
let's
little
go with
confusing
this.
because everything is in reverse now.
Yeah, you're noticing this part?
Yeah.
Yes, and these are the formulas. All these are the formulas. All these you have to remember as a part of formula. So the moment you know the d by dx of sine inverse x, you remember the sine inverse x formula is 1 by root of 1 minus x square. Differentiation of sine inverse x is 1 by square root of 1 minus x square. Right?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you do integration of square root of 1 minus x square, you should get the sine inverse x, isn't it?
should be 1 by 1 minus. Okay, yeah. I get it.
Correct, no?
Yeah.
Understood this part? Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay, excellent. Next part. Next part. Yeah. What is the integration of cos inverse x? Cos inverse x is minus 1 by root of 1 minus x square. So put the minus
Yeah.
sign this side or that side. So if it is minus cos inverse x, it will become 1 by root of 1 minus x square. It will become the same. But just want to, give a negative positive sign proper, we can just write a d by dx of cos inverse x as minus 1 by root of 1 minus x square. Got it?
Okay.
And whenever the minus 1
Yes.
by root of minus x square, you can integrate to cos inverse x or minus cos inverse x. Vice versa. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Excellent, Vijay. So now let's go to the what is the integration of tan inverse x? All these are the 11th part. D by dx of tan inverse x. Remember we are done in the 11th part. This one.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So differentiation is tan
One
inverse
by
x is 1 by 1 plus x square. So integration will be tan inverse x plus c. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Excellent, Vijay. Similarly, we'll go for the cot inverse x now. Tan inverse x is same 1 by 1 plus x square. So cot inverse will be minus 1 by 1 plus x square. Right? Okay, good, excellent. Let's go to this secant inverse x now. Couple of more problems in this secant inverse x. Now what will be the integration of secant inverse x? This is quite important formula because we use it becomes a little different because all the square root will be a little different because d by dx of secant inverse x will be 1 by x square root of x square minus 1.
Okay.
So this is the differentiation of secant inverse x. So till now we got 1 minus x square, 1 plus x square. Now you are getting x square minus 1, and that too in the square root. So and then x is also on the outside also. So 1 by x square root of x square minus 1 secant inverse x. Clear? So d by dx of secant inverse x is equal to 1 by x square root of x square minus 1, and then we'll get it the secant inverse x value. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Okay, so when do the integration of whenever integration comes 1 by x of square root of x square minus 1, so remember it put the secant inverse x plus c. Fine. Similarly,
Yes, sir.
do for the cosec inverse x now. What is the differentiation of cosec inverse x? It's just the sign changes, nothing else. Cosec inverse x is nothing but minus 1 by x into square root of x square minus 1. But you remove the minus sign, it will come to the minus cosec inverse x. So when you do the integration of the 1 by x square root of x square minus 1, see you can put both the things, okay? So whenever the integration of 1 by x by square root of x square minus 1 comes, you can either put secant inverse x or you can put the minus cosec inverse x. Both are fine. Understood, right?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Both are fine. There is no difference at all. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Excellent. Now let's go to the 14th formula. 14th formula is what says the integration of differentiation of e power x. That's the standard e power x. No change. E power x remains e power x only. So integration of e power x also should remain the same only. Right?
Yeah.
Integration of e power x also remains the same only. Now let's go to the 15th one now. 15th one says integration of log x now. What is the degree? What is the differentiation of log x? It's 1 by x. That's the standard, and absolute value of x, because x cannot be negative, so x has to be positive, right? So d by dx of log x is 1 by x, right?
Yeah.
Clear this part? 1 by x. Okay.
Hmm.
So integration of 1 by x will be directly we can put as log x. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Next important 15th one is again important part. 15th differentiation. These are only small differentiation. People tend to forget this part. Okay. Differentiation of a power x log a by log a. Right. So what generally is, see, it's actually when you do the differentiation of a power x, so it becomes what? A power x log a. But here log a is anyway constant. When you do the differentiation of a power x, so it becomes what? A power x into log a. So log a cancelled. So you get as a power x only.
Okay,
Right?
I don't understand, sir.
Okay, no problem. See, when you do the differentiation of a power x by log a, so log a is anyway constant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you keep the log a outside, so it becomes 1 by log a, and a power x differentiation is what? A power x into log a. Not clear?
Yes, sir.
So log a will get cancelled, so answer will be a power x. Not clear? I'll just write it on this part. Let me
It's
just.
clear, sir. Clear.
Huh? It's clear? Not clear?
Yes, clear. It's clear.
Okay, fine. Because a power x will be nothing but in differentiation is a power x into log a. So I'll just write it down here, so that, so here dx of a power x is equal to a power x into log of a. So it's something like this, Vijay.
Okay.
d by dx of a power x is nothing but a power x into log a. So when you substitute it here, so it will become a power x into log a divided by log a. Log a cancels, so answer is a power x only.
Okay, sir.
So when you do the integration of a power x, you should get the a power x by log a. So that's what he mentioned here. So remember, this becomes the formula for you. A power x
Okay, sir.
and divided by log a plus c. Clear this one?
Yes, clear.
Any questions, any doubts till now?
No, sir. It's clear.
Okay, what is the geometrical interpretation of the indefinite integral? So when we do indefinite integral means we have the arbitrary value of the constant c. Okay, because we don't know what value of c is there, so we don't know what the the function is, so we generalize the function. Okay, so when we generalize the function, let's see what happens now. Okay, quickly draw the figure 7.1.
Okay.
Quickly draw the figure 7.1 and then we'll try to understand.
Okay, sir. 1 minute.
Okay, 7.1, just draw the figure. Then I'll explain to you what it means here. at x is equal to a.
So done.
Done. Okay, good. Now let's understand that part now. So I have the function, let's say f of x is equal to 2x. Okay, now you integrate the 2x, so what you'll get? You will get something as x square plus c, because 2x integration will be what? X integration will be x square by 2. So 2 cancel, so it will become x square plus c, isn't it? See, okay, what I'm trying to say is, if you are not getting it, what I'm saying, see, what I said is something like this. F of x is equal to 2x. Okay, let's say the function is f of x is equal to 2x. When you do integration of f of x dx, so what you get? 2x integration of 2x is what? 2 into x square by 2.
Yeah.
Correct. X power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So here x power n is nothing but 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So x square by 2. So 2 cancel. This will become x square plus c, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it becomes x square plus c. Good. X square plus c. Now so it becomes x square plus c. Now c is, we don't know what can c it be. So if the c we don't know, then how can we represent it geometrically? Now let's try and understand that. We can have the c as 0, we can have c as 1, we can have c as 2, we can have c as 3, we can have minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, any value, correct?
Yeah.
So how to know? Because differentiation, when you do the differentiation of x square of any constant value, you will give answer 2x only, no?
Yes, sir.
Correct. But when we
Yeah.
but integration wise it becomes a difference. Now if whatever the figure you drawn here, if we see, look at the figure, depending on the c value, when it was y is equal to x square, so can you see the y is equal to x square, the graph is touching the origin O, graph is touching the origin O.
Yeah.
When you go to the x square minus 1, the graph is going downwards. Can you see that? Minus 1, minus 2. It is going, y-axis it is touching minus 1, minus 2. And on the x-axis, it has become x square plus 1, x square plus 2, x square plus 3. So what we are trying to say is the function is, the similarity of the function is same, but the actual function is changing. Dy by dx means at the any time, whenever we want to find the any time differentiation, that means it's a slope. Slope at the certain point, suppose p, it's the same. When you take the slope of curve x square plus 3 at the point p4, it is same the parallel line. You see the parallel line from the p4, p3, p2, p1, p0, p minus 1, p minus 2. Can you see that? All the slopes are parallel. The dotted black lines are parallel to each other.
Yes, sir.
Those are differentiated values. Those are differentiation. Straight line, parallel straight lines are the differentiation things, and all the curves are the integration things. So that means when we do constant value c, so all these curves are possible now.
Yes, sir.
Because why? When as per the principle, when we do the differentiation, that means when you do the integration, the differentiation of certain thing, when you do integration, you get some constant value c, right? So c can be anything. Which c we are entitled, that depends on the particular value. If we define the particular value, then function will be specific then. Because if the function is not specific, then c can take any arbitrary value. But that will not affect the differentiation, because any curve you take, it's like a parallel line only. At the same point, it will just go up and down position only, but it's the same parallel line. Slope will be always same. Because the parallel line slopes are same. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, sir.
That's why differentiation doesn't matter, because here slope is constant. It remains the same. I'll just send you this part. This constant and remains the same. Clear, Vijay? Understood this part?
Yes, sir.
So so that's why we say that it gives the integration gives you the family of curves. Okay, because integration of that f of x will give you the family of curves. So a different value of c will correspond to the different numbers of the family, and thus these numbers can be obtained by shifting any of these curves parallel to itself, and that becomes a geometrical representation of indefinite integral. Understood the meaning of indefinite integral? Because all are the similar curves only, but which curve are we talking depends on the value of c. If we don't define the value of c, then it will be like an infinite number of curves whose differentiation will remain the same. That's why it's called the indefinite integral, because there can be n number of functions depending on the value of c whose differentiation is same, right?
Yes.
When we specify the value of c, that becomes the definite function. Okay, till now it's only the indefinite integral. So depending on the questions, we can understand, depending on the value of c, we can define what kind of particular function will be. Clear?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Any questions, any doubts, Vijay, till now?
No, sir. It's clear.
So that's why it's called the constant of integration and the integration. Okay, so just like differentiation, differentiation d by dx is also represented, d by dx of f of x is represented as f dash of x. So the another way of representation I'll just tell you, so that you should not get confused about it.
Okay.
Okay, so here let's understand that part. Yeah, these two things we'll try to understand. Look here. So integration of f of x dx we want to do. F of x, then same thing we want to differentiate it. See, one is antiderivative, other is derivative. So derivative and antiderivative cancel out, so that's why it's equal to f of x dx. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Other way of representing is, if you know that derivative, that f dash of x, so when you do integrate the f dash of x, that will give you f of x plus c, because f dash of x is nothing but the differentiation of f of x only. Correct?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yes,
So
sir. Clear.
yeah, excellent. So we don't need to prove here, we don't need to do the proof of it. That's fine. This is a simple thing. Okay, so we just need to know constant of similarity, proportionality, that is only important. Okay, so a couple of more things we'll try to discuss this part. Okay, so here another property is, so we don't need the proof of it, but just like your differentiation only, property, when you do just like differentiation, any addition or subtractions, we can just do the individual terms. So integration also can be done with the individual terms. Whenever the two functions are there, you can integrate individually, right? F of x plus g of x dx is there, you can just integrate f of x separately and g of x separately, just like differentiation only. Got it? Two function product will be different, that product rule will study later part. This part is clear to you?
Okay.
Just it's a simple addition subtraction, you can do the individual terms only. Clear?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Okay. Next property is that product. If some constant number is multiplied. So if constant number is multiplied, so we can take the constant outside the integration. Constant number is multiplied, we can take the constant number outside the integration and we can integrate the remaining function with respect to x. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Excellent, superb. And yeah, same thing. So if you have the n number of, the combination of those things also remains the same. Okay, let's go to the combination of these two. We'll understand the combination also and then we'll quickly tell you the meaning of this part. Let's focus on this part, Vijay. Now look here, what is that? We have the n number of functions, f of x plus f2x plus f3x, so on, and each multiplied with k1, k2, k3 until kn. So k is a constant, which is some constant value which is independent of x. So as per the theorem, we can integrate individual terms, isn't it? When you do integration of individual terms, k is the constant, you can keep the constant outside. Integration can be only done with the function which has the x only, because you are integrating with respect to dx. Dx is what? Any change in the variable x. Apart from x, everything it considers as a constant. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Excellent. Superb. Okay, let's go to the example 1 part. Vijay, write an antiderivative of each of the following function using the method of inspection. Okay, good. Cos 2x. This is an oral question, Vijay. So just try it out now. Cos 2x. What will be the antiderivative? Means integral. What will be integral of cos 2x? So what you will, what you will differentiate so that you will get the cos 2x. So what you will integrate? Same thing when you
Sorry, sir.
yeah. So just try the cos 2x now, Vijay.
Okay, sir.
We'll see how you do that. You know how to do this question, cos 2x now? Integration of cos 2x.
Not really, sir.
Okay, I'll explain to you. See, what is question is, what is the antiderivative of cos 2x now? Isn't it? So, you know the derivative of, let's to recall that part. Okay, cos 2x. So, cos 2x, what is the derivative? So, think about it. What is the, which term? Sin x derivative is cos x, right? This one you know.
Yeah.
Since it is 2x is there, let's try to differentiate sin 2x now. What is the differentiation of sin 2x? Use the chain rule. Sin 2x is cos 2x and 2x differentiation is 2. So 2 into cos 2x. Correct?
Yeah. Yes,
Now
sir.
what we want is cos 2x only. So 2 is a constant here. 2 take it to the other side. So it becomes 1 by 2 into differentiation of sin 2x. Correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Now antiderivative, that means differentiation of sin 2x was cos 2x. That means differentiation of sin 2x by 2 was cos 2x. So integration of cos 2x should be equal to half of sin 2x then. Correct?
Yeah.
See, basically, what is the meaning here? Meaning here is when you differentiate it, actually sine half of sine 2x, then only you got cos 2x, no?
Yes, sir.
So that means integration of cos 2x should give me half, sine 2x by 2 only. Because opposite. Clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
If you don't know this part, if you having difficulty in this part, you can directly go to the table Vijay. Cos 2x directly you can do from the table. What is the integration of cos 2x? I'll just show you that cos x integration was what? Sin x. If you look here, property number 2, derivative 2, cos x was what? Sin x. Did you see that?
Okay. Yes, I got it now.
Integration of cos x was sin x as per the formula. And since it is 2x, 2 is multiplied to x, so 2 gets multiplied in the derivatives. Whatever multiplication happens in derivative, that will go as a division in the integrations. So it will become sin x divided by 2. Did you understand? Sin 2x divided by 2 plus c. Clear?
Okay. Yes, sir. Clear.
Understood? Any questions, any doubts? Right?
No, sir. Clear.
Okay. Perfect. No problem. Now let's go to this part now. Secant inverse. Okay. Yeah. Fine, Vijay. This part is clear to you. Excellent. Similarly, 3x square. Do the second part, Vijay. 3x square plus 4x cube. You can apply the x power n plus 1 by n plus 1 formula directly.
Okay, sir.
No need to solve the differentiation method and all to understand. Now you already got it.
Yeah.
Just use the formula. Integrate separately. 3x square integrate separately. 4x cube integrate separately. Add it. So basically 3 is constant, so keep it outside. X square difference integration will be what?
So it's x cube plus x to the power 4.
Excellent. Got it, no? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Similarly do for the third one also now.
It's log x, right?
Yeah. No, you have to do integration, right? Correct. Differentiation, yeah, 1 by x is log x, correct. Clear, Vijay? Understood?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay, no problem. Let's do example 2 and example 3 is part of homework, Vijay. Then I'll teach you. But right now, whatever I explained, you didn't understand properly.
Okay, sir.
I mean, any questions, any doubt, Vijay?
No, sir. Clear.
Sure, I think that's fine. Let's close it now. We'll continue in the next class. Fine?
Okay.
Okay, Vijay. Sure. Bye.
Bye, sir.